Hi everyone, Julie Boye here. I'm so excited that you've joined us either through video or audio. Very excited for my guest today, Crystal Nash. Crystal and I met several years ago, actually through a networking meeting, and we just had a really instant connection. And what's great about Crystal is we just got together right after that networking meeting. We started building a relationship. We started working together. It was kind of like one of those networking dreams where it just kind of all works out. We're really aligned. And even though we don't live in the same part of the country anymore, we still are really, really connected. Crystal has been doing a lot of really amazing work as an entrepreneur. I'll let her share about what she's up to these days, but it's been really fun to watch Crystal to grow as an entrepreneur since I've known her. So welcome, Crystal.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. So just so that people can get to know you a little bit, I just love to hear a little bit about your story of how you got to where you are today, which I know that includes being a health coach, but there's so much more to Crystal than just that. So if you could tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so it began when I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. I was looking for something, anything. And in my healing, I was like, okay, what am I going to do now for me? And then like Julie mentioned, I started going to networking events and I met Julie, and that's where I found USANA. And to be honest, that's kind of being part of USANA is what really got the ball rolling for me in terms of finding myself again and learning how to actually appreciate who I am and what was surrounding me. So from there, I was like, okay, I'm loving this business, but there's something more. There's more that I can do. What is that? And that's how I fell into health coaching. So I went online, I found a great school, got my certification in that. And since then, I've been doing coaching. I also have different programs that I run. I have different workshops that I do. And I've been recently working with my husband. He is becoming a sound therapist. So we've kind of collaborated as well. So there's lots of fun things coming up for us. And yeah, that's kind of my journey of how I got to where I am.
So just a couple of things that I want to, kind of come back to. You have three beautiful children, three daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and you mentioned about suffering from postpartum depression, which
Mm-hmm.
is still like wrapped in stigma. Women aren't getting enough help. So what was it after which child did you sort of experience it, or was it with every pregnancy? And what actually made you realize that you needed help?
Okay, so it was after my third. My third was born. She was born 3 months early, so 12 weeks early, and that was crazy. From the get-go, that pregnancy was very interesting. I was pregnant, and then I didn't know, and I had an IUD put in. So my connection, and then they said that they couldn't pull it out. They couldn't take it out. So my connection with the baby from the beginning was like, no, I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to feel hurt if something happens. So I'm just not going to connect with this child, which is crazy to think. But that's how I just felt like that's how I had to do this. And then when she
Because you
came,
didn't know because of the IUD whether or not the pregnancy would end up being viable.
exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
you meant? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
they said to me, it could, we don't know what can happen. You could lose your baby at any time. So I was like, huh, okay. So, well, let's just pretend she's not there,
wow,
um, which is horrible.
that's crazy
But
though. How hard that
that's
must have
what I
been
had
for
to
you.
do. Um, yeah, I mean, there was connection, but it wasn't the same as the first two.
Yeah, wow.
And then once she was born, there was the shock of, holy shit, my child is 2 pounds. I'm, pumping without a baby here. I'm driving back and forth. I have two other kids at home. And I'm just hoping that this child survives. Luckily, everything is well and went well. But when I brought her home, that was it. It was kind of like, that's when it finally hit me. I was in shock for so many months that
Wow.
I was just in like autopilot, just doing the things I needed to do to get through. And then when we finally brought her home was when it hit me, and I was like, this is crazy. This is like a mom of three. I'm so overwhelmed. I feel like all these emotions. And honestly, like, I was watching CBC, I think, and there was a documentary called Pardon My Postpartum. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. I'm sick. There's something, I'm sick. So I went to the doctor, and that's where it started to, the journey of healing started for me. So
Ooh,
without seeing that
yeah.
documentary, I mean, I could have been going on and on and on with this horrible feeling within inside of me. Because yeah, you're not, I mean, at the beginning, after you've given birth, they do kind of like ask you questions and they monitor you a little bit, like the midwife does, but it's not, I don't know.
Well,
I
it
feel like they're
was
not,
months for you because you didn't take your baby home right away.
no.
So, and that's, I think, what, and I got chills when you said that about the
Mhm.
documentary, because it is crazy that like you just happened to catch this and then but then you took action,
Yeah.
because so many women, A, assume it has to be right away, which it doesn't. It can show up
Hmm.
months and months
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
And B, they're still scared to say, like, I think there's something not right. And it is
Hmm.
like, it is a chemical hormone imbalance caused by
Hmm.
pregnancy and giving birth and all these things. And I think this is a really important part of your story. And I'm glad you are at the point where you're really comfortable sharing it
Yeah.
and telling women, because some woman will hear your story and go, that's me. Right. And
Yes.
we'll make the
Yeah.
difference for one woman. So
Hmm.
I wanted to come back to that part of your story because I do think it's super important. And we are like, we're here talking about self-love and we're talking about gratitude and we're talking about all this stuff. But like when you're sick with postpartum depression,
Yeah.
those words don't mean anything to you.
And it looks different for everybody. Like for
Right.
me, I hated everything. I hated my life. I hated my husband. I hated my everything. I didn't care. I wanted to just run away. I thought that there was better somewhere else. And my husband's like, I'm happy. And I'm like, this is a shitty marriage. Well, and he's like, I don't see that, but I'm sick. My
Yeah.
mind was so gone. And then I was chatting with another woman and she's like, well, my postpartum was different. I didn't want to leave my kids. I was like terrified to let them be with someone else. I was
Yeah.
attached. I was like, so it does look different for many, many people. So you just have to be aware of that too. It can show up and look different for a lot of us. So
Gosh, this is such an important message. And I think this whole project I'm doing around self-love, it's like, women who are watching and listening might just get like one little thing that can set them on a journey towards,
mhm,
self-love and towards gratitude and all these things that are really important, but that they can't see right now because they're totally blind to what's happening,
totally
because you
blind.
can't see when you're in it. I also I remember feeling, that feeling of wanting to just run away. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't, I don't know. It's probably just better if I leave. And I went
Yeah.
to a support group that was run by the city. She was about 5 months old, and I was like kind of talking about it a little bit. And they're like, you should probably see your doctor. And thankfully I was not really in postpartum. Like I was kind of baby blues, which is like not quite as, it's not clinical like postpartum. And I was able to work my way through it with some cognitive behavioral therapy things.
Yes. That's what I
But
did too.
it it was real and it was kind of scary, and it was acknowledging that like something's not quite right when you're feeling this way. And then it's like you don't want to say it because you don't want to say you don't want to be with your child because that
Oh, for
doesn't seem
sure.
right.
Yeah.
So
Because there's people that can't, right? And you're afraid of what they'll think of you. You're afraid of that
exactly.
judgment. Yeah. But you're right when you said that it totally blinds you. It makes me think, I wonder how many marriages would have lasted if like maybe the people recognized their mental illness.
Yeah.
You
And
know what
got
I mean?
help.
Because like I said, like I thought it was a disaster and it clearly was not. So it makes me think, oh my goodness, like the things that happen when you're not in that state of mind of clarity. It's crazy. Yeah.
I want to this is so important. And I just want to I want to shift gears just a little bit because there's a connection that you and I have, I think that's also really important and I want to address. And when we met, you were still healing for sure.
Yes. Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I wanted to talk a little bit about the positive effect that gratitude has had as part of your journey. I'd love
Yes.
for you to share a little bit about that too.
Well, you're the one that showed me that. I mean, I was learning it in my workshops a little bit, the workshops I was doing, but sorry, Julie, I'm just going to shut the door. My dog opened the door.
Oh, okay, sure.
It's a PA day.
Okay, so we've got your full attention back. Totally get it, kids. We don't want kids coming in and out. So tell us a little bit about how gratitude has been part of your journey, because you've come a long way from when you and I met to becoming a health coach, running programs and workshops, working with your husband, and I know gratitude was part of that journey for you, or is
For sure. So, you are the guru of gratitude, and you shared with me that it's important to just see what's around you and, be thankful for the day. And one thing I think that you had said was just wake up and smile and be grateful that you're alive. And I was like, what? Like, so simple, but the impact, and I feel like I'm going to cry, because I would wake up and I would be like, frig, I'm awake. Now I have to do all the things. But when I shifted that and I woke up and I would smile, I made myself smile. And I was like, okay, thankful for another day. That change helped me start the day. Maybe it was a shit show, but at least it got me going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was so helpful. And then, just that practice of and I did it with my family. I made sure that they were part of it too. We would sit around the dinner table and we'd say, what are you grateful for today? And it was so nice to see the dynamic change, not just in me, but within my family and with everybody. And so just those little practices were so helpful. Like, and it's not a big deal what you're doing, but it is huge how it impacts you. Huge.
Well, it is huge. And what I love is that this sort of led you to the work, and then you had your attitude shifted, and the way you looked at things changed, and you invested in yourself with this coaching. And now what you're doing that I'm really excited about is you're talking about clutter. And we're in a place of the minimalist movement and downsizing and reducing our clutter and capsule wardrobes and all that stuff. But what I love is that you look at all this from a really different perspective. You're talking about holistically clearing all this clutter. So tell me what that means. Why is this, important? Why are you so excited about it? And why is it different than, everyone else just talking about, Marie Kondo everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because everything is connected. You can't just, do one thing without doing everything's connected. So yes, I'm going to clean my space and it's going to allow me room for more things, but there's areas within you that also have clutter. So in your mind, maybe you're having a hard time focusing. Maybe you're having a hard time just, with negative thoughts or whatever. So what we want to do is we want to focus on getting that out. Get it out. How can we get this stuff out? With the soul, maybe you're not connecting, like how, again, negative thoughts there. And the body, I mean, with the 30-day whole body detox, that was another thing that I did that set me like on fire, because I had so much crap within my body from, the food I was eating, the way I was treating myself, that clearing that out as well allowed me to really be aware. It's about creating awareness, really, right? You're getting rid of the things that are no longer serving you so that you can be aware of what you really want, and only let the things in that are good for you and that make you feel good and that are, putting you on the path towards your goals. So, you can't bring new furniture in without getting rid of the old. So, and it's not just physical, it's everything. It's everything. So.
Crystal, one of the reasons why I really wanted to interview you for this self-love project is because to me, you're an example of someone who actually has done self-love, like who actually has said, because you went through so much. You have 3 young children. They're a little bit older now. They're all in school finally. But you went through a time, right? You went through postpartum, which was not easy to deal with.
No.
Went through all these things. And instead of like accepting that this was your situation and this was your fate, you were open to learning. You've always been open to making changes and shifting. You're like a super coachable woman. And what you've become is this woman who's like decided that you're important, and you do all these things that like are all around self-love. And that's why like you're literally like a shining example of someone who wasn't taking care of themselves and who actually did all the things. And I know it's still a journey and you're still working, but I've seen this beautiful transformation in you. And now you're at a point where you're helping others to their self-love through this holistically clear the clutter. So it's really beautiful. And I want to hear like, you know, you did create this amazing program, Holistically Clear the Clutter. And I want to know, like, how does that connect back to self-love? Why is it really important for self-love?
I think it connects back to self-love because, you know, you're the most important person. Yes, my kids are important. My husband's important. But until I am feeling good and taking care of myself, I can't give them what they deserve. I can't give to them the love they deserve. I can't give to them the energy they deserve. So, and the energy that I need to be with them. You know what I mean? So that's where I feel like, you know, you got to get rid of it all. Get rid of anything that surrounds you that is just bogging you down, is making you feel like you're stuck. And take the time. Honestly, people are like, oh, I feel so guilty. I'm like, I never felt guilty for taking time for me. That's just personally me.
But that's so important. Like, let's just, right? That is a big thing.
Like,
and I was going to say, like,
do this,
how many women tell you, what's that?
I said, because I know that if I don't do this, I'm not nice. I'm not functioning properly. Right? So I can't feel guilty. You can't feel guilty for taking that moment for yourself. Like, you deserve that.
And you're worthy just because you're alive, I think is like, you don't have to earn the time for yourself.
No, you don't.
So a client says to you, Crystal, like, this holistically clear the clutter thing sounds good. Yeah, I know that I need to clear all my clutter, but I don't have time for that. What do you say?
Well, thanks for the excuse.
Yeah.
It honestly doesn't take a lot to adopt these little things into your day. You start with 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes of maybe sitting in silence or doing a meditation, or even just taking the time to you know, journal, or making a choice of, should I grab this bag of chips or should I grab an orange? Like, it's these small little things. So it really isn't too much to do about time in the beginning. It's more about choices.
Okay.
It's about the choice. Do I want to make this choice? What is this actually going to do for me? And I've said it before about creating that awareness. It's about being aware and conscious of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So do I want to take, you know, an hour and drive my kids where they need to be? Not really. What can I do within that time to make it better for me? Maybe you're driving them somewhere and you're sitting there, instead of scrolling Facebook, okay, maybe read a book, or maybe take that time and do a meditation, or sit there and plan your meals for the week. So there's time. You just have to be conscious, and you have to be willing and wanting to make the change within yourself, because there's always an excuse. That excuse of no time is just that. It's an excuse. And I mean, I get it. Life's busy. It's crazy sometimes. And I fall off sometimes, and I'm like, oh.
Well, you have 3 kids. You have several businesses. Your husband has a full-time job and a business. Yeah, like, you know what busy is. So just quickly tell us, if someone wants to be working with you for this holistically clear the clutter, how does it work? Is it a one-on-one thing? Is it a group thing? How does that program work?
So it's through Facebook. Facebook group called the 30 Days to Holistically Clear the Clutter Experience.
Okay.
There is a calendar. Show ya.
Cool.
So we got a little calendar here, and each week we focus on different things. So week
Okay,
1
cool.
is environment, week 2 we got body, week 3 we focus on the mind, week 4 we focus on the soul. So on that calendar, there's suggestions, things to do
Right.
to clear the clutter. So you don't have to follow it every single day, but this is what we're focusing on this week. These are some suggestions I have for you. Then I also have, offering 2 coaching calls. So 2 20-minute coaching
Oh,
calls, one at the
perfect.
beginning and one at the end. So the one at the beginning will kind of offer you clarity. Why am I doing this? Why do I want to
Yeah.
do this? What does this look like for me? What do I want to gain? And then the one at the end is, how did this go for me? What can I adopt? How else can I grow? What are some more action steps I can take to make this, sustainable and to fit within my life? So then there is group discussion as
Cool.
well. I love when the people in the group are chit-chatting and letting us know how their progress is going and what they've found works and what doesn't for them, and offering that support as a group as well.
That's
And
great.
I also have Ask the Experts. So each week I'm going to have an expert, and hoping to have you there, Julie, as well, talking about gratitude in the soul, and seeing from them where, uh, where, they can offer some more tips. What are the
Yeah.
benefits from their industry? What do they see? What, you know what I mean? Because I don't know it all, of course. But so yeah, it's just fun. It's free, and it really gets the ball moving for some people, who are starting a journey, who are like looking for something, but they're not really sure how to begin or what things look like. This just kind of gives you a perspective
So
of
good.
how to release the crap to let in the good stuff.
Yay. Well, I love that. And what's great
Yeah,
is that, no matter when you're watching or listening, you run this on a regular basis.
I
So
do.
if
Yeah,
you're like, if you check out the group and they're in the middle of a 4 weeks, like you're going to run it again. Don't
yeah.
worry. It's all good. So,
It's
um,
so powerful and easy. So
yeah, I love that. I'm excited
yeah,
to check it out too and to see how I
yeah.
can help. So the last question I had for you is if people that are watching or listening, if you wanted to encourage them to make one change or one habit or even one little action they could take to, do some holistic
Mhm.
decluttering, starting after they've listened to this, what would you suggest?
Breathing.
Oh,
Just breathe. There's so many of us that don't breathe. I mean, you're breathing. Of course, you're breathing. You'd be dead. But I mean, focus on the breath.
yes, we do breathe, but we breathe up here, right? We're like we're
Exactly.
not
Like,
actually
breathe
breathing.
from the
Yeah.
belly. Like, breathe in. Like, let it go out, and just like take some time to focus on the breath and sit there for a minute and just appreciate that you're alive. Yeah, like breathing in through the nose and releasing, and just be there. A
Oh,
couple breaths can just waken you, like and that's free and it's easy and you can do it
oh.
anywhere.
And I love it because I know this, dude. I forget all the time. And then every time someone reminds me, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, breathe, right?
Yes, just
Crystal, this has been so much fun, and it was
yeah.
we went places I didn't know we would go. We shared really emotional stuff that I'm so grateful for that, because we know it'll resonate with someone, and hopefully we can help somebody just in the right
Yeah,
direction. Now,
yeah, so
people are going to want to stay connected to you. They're going to want to find you.
yeah.
So, where are the best places to find you, and how do we do that?
Best place on my Instagram, my handle is Crystal Nash Coaching. And then I have my website, which is also Crystal Nash Coaching, but it's .ca,
Okay.
Canada, so
Okay.
.ca. And there you can find,
And your Facebook
info. You can
event
connect.
too.
Oh, my Facebook, my event. Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
So can you say
That's
the name again?
the 30-day holistically clear the clutter experience.
Okay. We can probably
Okay.
find it if we write 30-day holistically, it'll probably show up.
Yeah, it'll
So
probably
of
show.
course, I'll share all the links with the video and when the audio is posted as well, so people can find you. But I just want to say a huge thank you so, so much for sharing your heart with us today. Thank you for being really authentic and open about your personal experiences. Um, and I love that, your reminder to breathe is so, so powerful. And
Mhm.
I'm going to take that into the rest of my day as well. Thank you,
Yes,
Crystal.
for sure, for sure. Thanks for having me, Julie. I always love connecting with you.
Thanks, babe.